Today I'm going to be talking about some of the biggest mistakes I see artists make. I just want to preface this with these are just my opinions, and I'm sharing these mistakes in hopes that I can help you grow and achieve great things as an artist. Before I jump into things, I just want to let you know that I'm painting an oil painting of my husband. I studied fine art in college, and oil painting / portrait painting is something I'm very fond of. If that gives you a little bit of a background or insight about me before I go into all these tips. The first biggest mistake I see artists make is that they look at small details rather than the big picture. I see this a lot with beginners and advanced artists. It can be really easy to make this mistake when you focus in on all the little details, like making the eye look absolutely perfect. Side note, I don't know why artists, especially beginners, are just obsessed with painting or drawing eyes. Okay, but anyways, my point is, you're focusing so much detail on this eye that you forget about the composition of the painting, and then the eye you just spent so much time on becomes crooked or smaller than the other eye. So, my point is, just remind yourself to look at the overall picture and remember to quite literally take a few steps back from your art from time to time in order to reevaluate. Another big mistake I see, and this might be kind of a sensitive subject for some people, is comparing yourself to other artists or trying to be like other artists to an extreme level. This is a pretty common thing in society in general with social media, but it's definitely prevalent in the art world especially. I see a lot of this on Instagram with artists trying to copy another artist, and I've struggled with it a bit myself. It's easy to set yourself up for failure when you constantly compare yourself to another artist and want to be just like them, when they've probably been working on their art for a few more years than you have, or maybe they've just been posting on Instagram for longer so they have a few more followers than you do. That being said, some comparison is good because you can see how another artist uses particular techniques and styles, and this can help you grow and continue to improve your art. Just remember to stay true to yourself and allow yourself to be creative. Not trying to be cheesy, but it's true. Something else I see a lot of artists do these days is sell their art for almost nothing. I totally get it. When you're just starting out, there can be a lot of pressure to make money. However, art isn't all about making money, and if you're selling an original painting for $3 to $5, that doesn't even cover the cost of shipping, combined with the materials you need in order to properly ship the painting. That is, of course, if you're selling on Etsy or something like that. What's important here is you're undervaluing what your art is actually worth, which also makes people less inclined to buy it. Just think, for example, if you saw a perfectly cute, full-price t-shirt at Target selling for $2, you would probably look at that and be like, is there something wrong with it? Maybe it will fall apart after I wash it once. Hence my point, study what other people are selling their art for and make a comparable price. Also, side note, please scan your original artwork. You want copies of that for your portfolio. And also, please don't sell your original artwork for $2 to $3 or whatnot. I swear I've seen people do that I know, and it shocks me, and it makes me cry a little bit. This leads me into my next point, which is don't use cheap materials. Especially if you're going to be selling your art, please don't use cheap materials. I get it. Art supplies can be really expensive. I'm not saying you should buy the most expensive thing, especially if you're just starting out and maybe you've never even used oil paints before. Don't go buy the most expensive oil paints you've seen. But I will say that I saw this one person on Instagram, and I've seen this tons of times before, where people are trying to start painting and selling their art, and in the picture of their cute drawing on Instagram, in the corner, you can see the $2 watercolor set they bought at Target. Try not to get heated about this, because that literally kills me inside. I can literally feel a piece of myself turning into a raisin and dying inside of me. You can buy a fantastic beginner's watercolor set at Hobby Lobby for $20 to $30 that will actually last you a while and look much nicer. If you want to excel in art and also have people buy or appreciate your art, please invest in it a little bit. I'll probably make another video sometime that's about what materials are worth spending the extra money, but you get my point. Another mistake I see a lot is where people paint what they think they see versus what they actually see. This is the most important piece of advice I was told in college by my art professor. It literally changed my life, so I'm going to say it again. Paint what you see, not what you think you see. Now, if you're an abstract artist or an illustrator, this doesn't necessarily apply to you. You can get a jail out of free card on this one. Everyone else, here's what I mean. I see a lot of artists complete a painting, and there's tons of straight white right out of the tube. However, if you look at a picture, rarely is there ever just straight white. In this painting I'm doing right now, I didn't just paint his shirt straight white. I mixed yellow Naples with white and added variants of color to it to create depth. What I'm trying to say is, truly look at your painting and paint what you actually see versus what you think you see. You'll end up adding a lot more life and depth into your artwork. I could argue that that's what makes a lot of professional artists so good, is they don't just paint the grass green with pointy lines. Maybe they make it red because it's a sunset outside, and maybe it's a windy day, so the grass is wavy in certain areas or something like that. Also, your painting will start to look a lot more professional if you use colors that are not just straight out of the tube. Honestly, that's just sad. Just please don't use colors that are straight out of the tube. Another huge issue I see is not being able to take criticism. I'm not going to spend a long time on this topic, but you have to be able to take criticism. And actually, sometimes you may want to ask for criticism. I'm no longer in college, but I still keep in touch with my professors and I ask them to critique my work from time to time. You can improve tremendously when you have other artists in your life who can give you advice. I don't mean those people on Instagram who maybe send you hate mail or something like that. Your artwork is great. Keep working on it. Just ask some of your other art friends who are good at art to critique your art from time to time. You can learn a lot from other artists. Going off of that, it's also important to be able to recognize your mistakes and start over when you mess up. You should always strive for perfection. I'm not saying you should be perfect. Nobody's perfect. But if you strive for that, you're going to get closer and closer to where you want to be. A wise man once told me, painting is just a game of build, destroy, build, destroy. Even if you've worked hours on something, you have to be okay with completely starting over. This is what will make you a great artist. I always know when I've completed a painting, because I just want to keep looking at it. But when I'm not done, I just want to put it aside, or there's an area that just makes me feel unhappy. And that's when you know you need to build, destroy, build, destroy. You may think, oh, it's done, but if you're unhappy and you're not wanting to look at the painting, it's not done. You need to start over or change something about it. This is a very hard lesson that I've had to learn as an artist. But even in this painting that you see right now, I've probably redone the nose maybe like 3 times at this point. I've had to move it over, change colors. In the beginning it was too bright. There wasn't enough shadow and depth. And even the ear, I think I did the ear in this painting maybe 3 times as well. So you have to be okay with making mistakes and starting over and being able to destroy your painting and restart. Another mistake artists make is not growing enough. I see a lot of people painting the same thing over and over and over again. Or maybe they draw different cartoon characters, but they always put their hands in their pockets or place them in the same angle or position every single time. You need to grow. Maybe you're not good at drawing hands, but you're never going to get good at drawing hands if you don't try and practice. Challenge yourself a little bit. I know it's hard, but draw something you like, but maybe mix it up a bit. Use watercolors instead of acrylics, or make a full scene or picture instead of just drawing one character with a plain white background. I say all of this out of love because I want you to be able to grow and become the artist that you want to be. Which leads me into my next topic, which is, it's just hard. And that is being self-deprecating and not being able to find joy in what you've accomplished. I saw this a lot in classes I was in college. We would get to the critique portion of the class and people would just complain about their piece and talk about how much they suck at art, and that's just not right. You are most definitely further along in painting than someone else is, especially if you're taking art classes and practicing. You need to be able to find joy in the small accomplishments you make. You just finished a painting, woohoo! That in and of itself is an accomplishment. You should definitely think critically and want to grow, but don't give up or hate on yourself just because Susan sits next to you and her painting looks like it could be in a museum. No one becomes amazing overnight, and not over one semester of class either. Be happy with small improvements, and set achievable goals for yourself. That being said, another issue is people who aren't painting or drawing enough. You're never going to become the accomplished artist you want to be if you don't practice and challenge yourself. You know your limits. I'm an introvert too, and sometimes when I come home from work, I don't want to start painting either. But if you set aside time and make art a habit, I promise you will improve. Maybe you can draw while watching Netflix or listening to music. You can kill two birds with one stone here. In my opinion, these are the biggest mistakes I see artists make. I honestly feel like I could make a separate video on each of these topics, but I hope I got the gist of it. I have a lot to learn as an artist, but these are a few things I've seen over the past few years that have helped me to grow a lot too. A big shout out to my friends in Realta for letting me use their music in this video. I met Realta on a Disney cruise traveling to Ireland, and they are amazing. Also, if you think of any mistakes that I didn't talk about in this video, feel free to comment them below. If you've just started out and you've just started drawing, please don't take what I've said too harshly. The most important thing is for you to keep practicing and also to have fun. If oil painting isn't fun for you, switch it up and do something you'll enjoy. This painting took around 8 hours to complete over the course of 3 days, and I used Winsor & Newton oil paints. I also used liquid in order to speed up the drying time. I'm still learning a lot about oil painting, but overall I'm happy with how this one turned out. When it comes to portrait painting, I get a lot of my inspiration from John Singer Sargent. He's amazing, obviously. If you're interested in seeing more of my artwork, I'll have my website and Instagram below. I'll also have these tips listed just in case you think you missed anything. Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and also comment, subscribe, and if you like the music in this video, check out Realta. I'll link their page in the description below. And thank you guys so much. Bye!